Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Malcolm from Kiss Kiss Bang, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Dig it.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's a privilege and an honor to have fellow Kentuckian Mr. Malcolm Warren of Kiss Kiss Bang. Kiss Kiss Bang hail from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and they have released their 6-track debut EP, Hearts on Fire, which is out now via TLG INgrooves, and also Kiss Kiss Bang have released the official music video, also entitled Hearts on Fire. And you want to get out and check out all this right now. So, Malcolm, how's it going?
Man, it's going well. I'm a little tired today. We've been on the road for a couple of days in a row, running the roads, but I am doing well, man.
I want to throw this out here right fast because I know I'll forget if I don't.
Sure.
Hailing from Kentucky and seeing what fellow Kentuckians have done in the music industry, such as bluegrass, country, rock, how does it feel to be part of that, I guess, that culture? Because look what Blackstone Cherry has done for the rock, in Kentucky. Look what they have done to put us on the map for rock.
Yeah. No, man, it feels great, and as far as the grand scheme of things go, we're a part of that, but we're not on the level of a lot of people, like we want to be yet. But we're trying to get there, and I think we're on our way. But man, we travel a lot, and when we go out of state, people, sometimes ask, what's the scene like, and what's this and that. And man, it's pretty incredible because, I mean, even from South Central Kentucky, where we're based out of and where a lot of us are from, it's really kind of mind-blowing when you sit down and think about all of the really good bands and artists, individual musicians as a whole, how good they are and how many there are over the years. I mean, I grew up on bluegrass music, and, my grandfather was a fiddle player and my dad was a guitar player, and they played in a band in the 80s. And man, even some of the musicians that you will never even hear of on a national scale would just blow your mind from this area. It's really neat to be able to be involved with that, just being from the area, because I don't know, it makes you want to strive to be better, because there's so many other bands that are just better from this area. I mean, Blackstone Cherry, obviously, being based out of Bowling Green, there's Cage the Elephant here. And while we may not play the same music as them, I have a huge respect for them, because not only are they a super successful Grammy-winning band, but they write great songs. And I don't know, it just kind of, you look around and there's a lot of big competition. So you just have to go out there and be the very best that you can be, and hope that people notice.
Yeah, just like you said, there's a lot of great talent, especially like Ian Abel. He was from Louisville, Kentucky, and now he's branched out to California and doing his own thing. So it is hard to get out from Kentucky for music unless you're a country band. So, I mean, it's very difficult.
Sure, yeah.
Let's jump right into this, good sir. How's it been working with Tag Publicity so far for you guys?
Man, it's been good, dude. We love Tom and the whole family at Tag. They really get behind us, and they believe in us, and they've opened some doors for us. We're getting some really good press, and we're even getting some bad press. There's been a couple of reviews come out that some people didn't really like what we were doing, but you know what? That's all right, because not everybody's going to like you, and we just kind of take it with a grain of salt and roll on. I told somebody this other day, we got a review back from a place in I believe it was the UK, I believe in England possibly, and they slammed us, man. But then I look at all of my favorite bands that I listened to growing up, and a lot of them got negative reviews. So, sometimes people don't always get it, but that's all right too, man. But Tag has been great, and I know that we're going to work with them for for the foreseeable future and hopefully forever, man, because they got a great thing going there, and it's a kind of a family. I stay in touch with Tom very often, and I don't know, they're good folks, man. They do good work. It's been a good fit.
I want to talk about this a little bit because I saw this in the press release. I thought this was very interesting. You guys had a complete renovation from the ground up in 2018 that changed not only the sound of the band, but the soul itself. Let's talk about that a little bit. What happened?
Sure. Well, I can point in the direction of where that originated from. Is when we added our member who handles not only guitar duties but also vocal duties and sometimes lead vocal duties. His name's Clayton Crowder, and he kind of came into the band and honestly gave us a kick in the hind end. It was like, hey, let's do this, and let's start over kind of from the ground up, and let's really see what we can do, because we're not like most bands in the sense that we have 3 guitar players and we have 3 people that sing very regularly in each song, and sometimes, well, a lot of times all together at once. So, we kind of had to, when we added him, we had to kind of step back and be like, okay, it's no longer you play the rhythm and I play the lead. It's like, hey, let's make a composition here with what we have. And it really, I'm not going to say, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it drastically changed our sound. I mean, we didn't go from one genre to the other, but it changed how we approach writing a song and how we approach playing the songs, because it can get tricky with 3 guitar players and 3 vocalists, because you don't want to step on each other's toes and you kind of got to stay out of the way of each other, but at the same time making everyone shine. So yeah, that was really just kind of woodshedding and taking a lot of time and seeing what works. And even though the EP has 6 songs, there was probably, I would say 10 more that while they may have not been completely finished, they just didn't make the cut, because we kind of had a certain direction we wanted to go with it. And even now, moving past the EP, we have even a more honed in and focused direction on where we're going with our music. So yeah, it was kind of adding a new member and feeling everything out and really getting to the core of what we're really good at doing and doing that.
So those songs that didn't make this EP, could we see them on another EP or an album down the line?
I would go ahead and say that's a very strong possibility, man. We write a lot of songs, and some of when I say we write a lot of songs, that doesn't mean that we have 50 songs that you could walk into our rehearsal space and we will play all in a row for you. A lot of these songs, when I say we write a lot of songs, is they have a verse and a chorus and or maybe a bridge riff or just a riff or just some lyrics, but they're still songs to us nonetheless. And we have a lot. We try to never quit writing songs on our own time and even when we're together. So yeah, I would say there's one song I can say today, because things change very quickly in our camp, but there's one song that I could probably say today for sure that will probably make the next release, that some people have probably heard us play live before, but I'm not going to spoil that one just yet. But yeah, and some of these songs may not come out until 4 releases from now. We don't know. It's all about timing and what kind of direction we're going with the body of work we're doing at the time.
To be continued. Da, da, da.
Yes, to be continued.
Malcolm, what's impressed or excited you the most about making the debut EP, Hearts on Fire, if anything? What's caught your eye about it the most?
That's a tough one. I would say, if I had to just completely off the top of my head answer that, just people's reaction at the live shows, especially at places that we've never been before, like towns and places, stuff like that. We played our first show in Alabama Friday night in Huntsville, and we were a little nervous, I guess you say. Not nervous in the sense we were scared to play. It was just more like, well, how are these people going to receive us? Because we could go down here and these people may hate us. We don't know. We hadn't made it that far south yet, and people down there really took on to us really well, and we've already been asked back to play at the venue in a couple months, and it's pretty neat to me when people come up to the merch table and people that I've never met before in my life, and people that I know for a fact are not familiar with us until they just saw us on stage, and they're back there buying the CD and ranting and raving about it. So I guess that's probably the coolest thing to me, is just just the excitement that I see in other people's eyes when they feel like they've discovered something that they haven't heard or haven't heard in a while. That's pretty cool. And the other thing too, I guess, is it feels nice is when people come up, and there was a guy spoke to me the other night and said the future of rock and roll looks bright. So I take that as, you know, I'm not sitting here saying we're the future of rock and roll, but there's a lot of new up and coming younger bands out there that are starting to break out on the national scene, that it's kind of, you know, going back to just playing your instrument and writing good songs. There's a lot of bands out there that I think are starting to stray away from that in modern times. And really, to us, our brand of rock and roll is all about playing your instrument and singing the songs and performing well. And when I hear people compliment us in that favor, it's very nice. That gets me excited. That makes me want to go back home and play even more and write better songs and just keep doing it.
And you're right. Rock and roll is in good hands because there are bands out there who are true road dogs, as I should say, because they bust their ass off on these tours. That's all they do, and they're pumping out music. So, yeah, rock and roll, I think, is in very good hands, and I wish people would, you know, sit back and relax and just let everything just come as is, because it's going to.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole rock and roll is dead thing, I think, is complete and total BS. As far as I'm concerned, rock and roll in the sense of guitars, drums, bass, and singing will never die.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter how old or young you are, when you put on a record that has good playing and it hits you, that feeling will never die from now till the end of time. I don't care what anybody says. You know, fads and trends come and go, and those are cool too. But as far as bare bones, you know, 3 to 5 or 6 guys getting up there and playing their guitars and basses and drums and their voices, that will never go away ever, in my opinion.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this EP? Which one would be the first single, or let alone a video, you wanted to release first? Was it hard for you guys to choose, or did you have somebody from the outside to help?
That was all us. I mean, we took outside considerations into consideration, but it was kind of hard because, you know, as far as like radio format goes, we're not really, we haven't yet ventured into, you know, mainstream radio or anything like that. But, you know, not all of our songs are 3 to 3.5 minute long singles. And, you know, when we write our songs, we don't sit down and be like, well, we've got to write it like this so it'll make the radio. Screw that. We don't do that. You know, I guess I could say my personal favorite track off the EP is When It Rains, and that song it clocks in at I'm pretty sure over 5.5 minutes. And there was a guy in the industry once told us that said, hey, you know, maybe get to the point a little quicker, that, you know, this song right here is a little too long. And we're like, no, because the reason we wrote this song that long is because every part serves a purpose. So yeah, it was a little hard, but we went with Hearts on Fire first because we felt like out of the whole EP, that was one of the best representations of what we do as far as guitar riffs and vocal harmonies and lyrics and just arrangements. We narrowed it down to a couple, but that was the first one we wanted to release to the world. And we take a lot of time making decisions. We don't just arrive at a decision, you know, just in 5 minutes, hey, let's do this. We carefully think things out and see what's best for us as a whole and our whole, I guess you'd say, I hate to use the word image, but persona and everything, because, you know, when people come to a show, we want them to get it. You know, first 2 or 3 songs in, like, oh, okay, I get what they're about. And we felt that one was the best representation of what we like to do.
Now, this video for Hearts on Fire was directed by 254 Productions. How was working with these folks on this?
Man, it was awesome. And what's cool is I'm actually sitting at the head of 254 Productions' house right now doing this interview with you, because he is a very good friend of mine and a walking distance neighbor to me. So it was very easy. We're former roommates too, and it was just kind of a natural fit. We're like, hey, we got this song. We're going to do a video for it. Let's do it together. Because really, they've been there since day one with us. Every video that we've ever released has been with 254 Productions, and they do a great job. And we've kind of grown together. The very first video we ever did was a song of ours called Drive that we recorded on our own. It's kind of like a demo, I guess you could say, of when our band first started. And to my knowledge, that was one of their first music videos that they ever filmed. So it's kind of cool to see the progression of not only our music, but their filming as well, because I think they knocked it out of the park, and they did exactly what we wanted to do for this video with Hearts on Fire, which was, we sit down and we're like, hey, let's just give a snapshot of what it's like being at a show with us, hanging out backstage and goofing off and cutting up and drinking some beer and having a good time. That's really what we like to do. And we filmed the show, we filmed the video over the course of 2 shows. One was in Lexington and the other was in Nashville. We did a couple dates with Buck Cherry, and it all kind of fell together because it's like, hey, there's going to be great crowds here, and let's film a video. And we love how it turned out. I went over to another guy in 254's house and watched it when they had just finished it, and I was like, yep, that's good. Let's get ready to release it. So it was easy. It's a brainless experience, and we just literally jump right in and get to work on it. It's always a good time, and I know we'll be doing many more videos in the future with them.
I know this is a 6-track EP, but are there any songs standing out more to you than any right now, Malcolm? I know it must change every time you listen to it, and I know you guys are close to them, but do you have any personally for you?
As far as songs that are on the EP, one that stands out to me that maybe doesn't get a whole lot of, I guess, publicity compared to a couple of the other tracks is a song called My Last Goodbye. That song was one of the earlier ones written for the EP, and it came together. At some parts of it were easy to come together, and other parts were a little more difficult. But that one stands out to me because of the reaction we get from it live. We usually close the set with it because it's just kind of a ripping tune. And to be honest, that song was written with the influence of a song like "Flirting with Disaster" by Molly Hatchet. If you listen to our song "My Last Goodbye," we kind of try to jump in that vein. It's just about, I don't know, it's just a good driving tune to me. You pop it in the CD player, whatever you listen to, and give it what I call the road test. And if you're flying down the road and having a good day and it's sunny outside, you put that song on it. I don't know, it just kind of has a cool vibe to it.
Let's talk about producing wise. Who produced this EP, or did you guys do it yourself?
We produced it along with a guy named Jordan Haynes. We did this EP in Louisville, Kentucky, where Jordan's based out of, and it was kind of a long process just because we didn't exactly go in and just crank out 6 songs and bounce. It was done over the course of weeks. We'd go in for a couple of days at a time, maybe 3, and then we would come back and do more parts. But it was a really good experience because I feel like at our level, every time we step into a studio, whether we've been there before or it's a new experience, we learn something. And that's what it's all about to me, is learning and growing. And with a producer like Jordan, you're going to learn stuff because he is a really incredible guitar player, and he just has a really good ear for stuff, and he can really add that extra 20 to 25% of a song or arrangement or anything that you may not have or you may need to be tweaked to be a little better. He's really good at that, and I think he's a great producer. He produces, several bands from our area, and we really enjoyed, especially being in the studio and cutting these songs, because it was really a creative time. And I can also say we drank a lot of Kentucky bourbon while we did it, and that made things even more interesting and fun. And, sometimes we get on each other's nerves. People don't understand when you go and record a record. It's not always a painless process. Just walk in and play your instrument and walk out. We got on each other's nerves a lot, but it was all because we wanted the best product that we could come up with as far as the songs go. I hate to use the word product, but the best end result that we could come up with, because he pushed us to that extra level, and in a band like us, we need that. And he pushed us to drink more bourbon. It was fun though. It was fun.
Working with him, did he get anything extra out of you that kind of shocked you a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, I wouldn't say shocked, but it was kind of like, so I can speak on my experience sitting down with with a guitar to track a lead part or even a rhythm part. He was very, very fine-tuned with his ear, and he made me realize that I for sure don't know everything, and sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. But he was really cool, when it came. He's like, hey, check your tuning, tune your guitar. And sometimes when I thought, oh, that was pretty good, he'd be like, I think you can do better. Let's roll it again. And he pushed all of us that way. So I think I wouldn't say nobody was actually shocked, but it was kind of a thing to where we realized we could dig a little deeper and pull out something that we maybe didn't think we had.
I want to talk about the artwork for the album, the cover photo. Who caught this and who did it actually for you guys?
The picture that's on the front of the EP, that was taken first week of January 2018. No, let me back up. Shoot, that's my bad. First week of January. No, that's right. 2018. That's right. That was the first ever photo, or first ever group of photos that we had taken once we added Clayton, the member I was speaking about earlier, that we had taken with him. We announced it on somewhere around, the beginning of 2018. It's like, hey, we got a new member. We're about to release some stuff on you, so here's what's coming. But that picture was not planned, and I think the coolest stuff, whether it's writing a song or taking a picture or a video or anything like that, is sometimes just off the cuff. We of course did pictures where, we posed and, got together and things like that. But that picture was taken as we were just setting up. It's Trevor putting on his jacket and we're all talking. I'm sure somebody said something stupid and we were laughing. But that was just really, he caught it. It just turned out to be a neat photo. And once he took the pictures, we went and put them on the computer and blew them up on a big screen. And we were looking at them. We were shuffling through them. We're like, oh, that's cool. And I don't know if it was me or somebody was like, wait a minute, what's that one? And we stopped, and he's like, oh, it's just adjusting my lens. We're like, well, that's an awesome picture. You got to save that one. And as time went on, we're just like, that's got to be the cover of the album. So that, and oddly enough, the guy who took the picture, Ryan Murphy, he's one that also works for 254 Productions with Brandon Taylor, and we have a pretty tight-knit family of who we work with, and we just got together at his house one night, and he snapped that photo, and there was never one that became more obvious to us along the way before we put the record out that, well, there's the cover. It was kind of neat that before we even played a note together live, we already had the album cover picture over a year ahead of time,
What do you hope everyone takes away from this EP, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of Kiss Kiss Bang's music in general?
All I really want people to take away from it, whether you like the music or not, if you're listening to it, I just want people to take away that, be like, hey, this band has put some time into their craft and writing their music, and we plan to put even more time into it and get better as we go. But I guess if anybody takes anything from it, I just hope they dig the music and they just want to put it on when they're in a good mood or a bad mood or any kind of mood. They just dig the songs and want to listen to it, because we write the music because we like it, but we want other people to like it as well, because we think we dig it. We know what kind of music we're influenced by. We think people will out there and wherever they are listen to it will like it too. I just hope people take away that it's good rock and roll, and hopefully they want to come to a show sometime.
Do you see this band still musically growing, or has it just been more of a personal growth for all of you guys involved in Kiss Kiss Bang?
I would say both, for sure. We're constantly evolving with the way we do things, I would say, on a monthly basis, but definitely personal growth too, as far as trying to, be more mature in the way we write music and the way we play our instruments. But yeah, definitely continuing to grow, because when we release whatever we're going to release next, I wouldn't want people to be like, oh, this is, if we release another EP or an album, I don't want people to say, oh, this could have been on the last record. I want it to be, and we want it to be something new and fresh every time that it comes out. We're not going to step away and start writing, hardcore metal songs anytime soon, but there will always be an evolution in what we're doing as far as playing and writing and our sound. So yeah, it's constant, especially as a band. It's constant growth, and just trying to write better songs every time we sit down to do it, and just be be better at what we do and have a better live show, everything. We just try to keep constantly pushing it and growing and be the best we can.
What about local support? How much local support do you guys get?
As far as people coming out to shows, we get a lot, man. We're fortunate that the area we're from has a really happening music scene, and there's a lot of great bands here too. We have a lot of good friends, not only in South Central Kentucky, but all over Kentucky that, you know, for example, we're playing this Friday here in our hometown of Bowling Green at a place called Tidballs. It's a very well-known venue. I mean, Cage the Elephant really broke out from there. That's their home base where they originated from. We're playing with a band from Lexington. We're playing with a band from Glasgow. And it's just always a good time, especially within the support of the scene. Everybody's real cool with each other. Everybody wants to see each other do the best they can. But as far as fans in the area, we're really fortunate because we've had a solid fan base from the time we started here. The people in our area kind of just latched on to us, and we're lucky that when we go step into a room here locally that there's people there and they're digging it and they're coming to check out, you know, what we're about. There's people that I know for a fact that will be at the show on Friday that were at our very first show ever and bought our first CD, bought our first shirt, bought every shirt and CD along the way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you can get that going on in your hometown. That's a really neat thing. It's really comforting to know, you know, hey, we're going to go play this show tonight and it's going to be a packed room. That's a cool time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Always got to support your locals. That's for damn sure.
Oh, yeah. Every band started out as a local band, no matter what anybody thinks.
Exactly. That's the number one thing right there, man. These bands started just the same as you guys did.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter. You know, there's some bands out there that were super groups that or people that came from other groups previously, but no matter what, even those bands that started their previous projects, they were still a local band. And
agreed.
It doesn't matter, how big they were or how small. They started out in a club in their home area just like the rest of them.
See, I get crap for giving up-and-coming bands and bands that's not had a lot of success on my show. And I'm like, well, why? I mean, they got to start out just exactly how everybody else has. I mean, I don't get that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, if it's easy, everybody would do it.
There
You know,
you go.
it takes a lot to get out there and put your art and your heart and soul out there. But everybody started on a small circuit somewhere, and you gotta support that, because if you don't, then they may not have the opportunity to make it out somewhere. You know. So
you guys are an upcoming band that's had some success here lately. We're living in a digital era now of getting albums out quicker. Plus, we got social media now to reach out to more folks. Do you guys like this now that we're in?
Well, I can say whether we like it or not, we have to adapt to it.
Right.
You can take it and look at it in a negative light, but we try to look at everything in a positive light of, you know, back in the day there, you know, you printed out flyers, you went and nailed them up to every telephone pole, and you stood at a business and handed them out and gave them out. I don't have to do that anymore. If I want to, when I get off the phone with you, I can hop on our social media page and post a flyer for the show this Friday, and way more people will see it than would have saw it on a telephone pole driving down the street. So I kind of, in my opinion, I kind of try to put it in a positive light of, hey, I can actually reach more people just sitting at my house with our music than I could, you know, 20 years ago. And I think that's cool. I guess if I had to say a downside of what that has created is a really short attention span of some people, because there's so much out there, you know, it's hard to get your stuff to cut through all of it. And so I guess that would be one kind of thing that I may not like about it, but whether I like it or not, that's how it is. So yeah, we try to use it to our advantage as much as we can and roll with it, because that's where we're at, man. It's 2019. People are listening to music on their phones and you know, checking out all the stuff through there. So we're just trying to get it to cut through everything, and hopefully it stands out.
What can fans expect at a show from Kiss and Bang, who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come out to see you guys, Malcolm?
Hopefully a good time. That's all we're about. If I had a nickel for every time I heard Trevor say, hey, let's have a good time tonight, that's our lead singer, then I would probably be a rich man. But that's what it's all about for us, man. We just want to have a good time. We want the people in the crowd to have a good time and enjoy what we're doing, because we're enjoying what we're doing on stage. being in the music business or whatever you'd call it it can be really stressful at times, and it's not really an easy thing to do. But when we're on stage for that 30 minutes to 45 hour, whatever slot we're playing at the time, we're having fun. And it really is fun playing your music with your best friends on stage. So that's all I hope people can expect to do, is have a good time when they come see us. And I hope that they dig what we're doing. That's really about all I can say.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do right there?
Oh man, that's a good question. I enjoy these questions. So the spark for me was I was let's see, I guess I was about 14 or 15 years old, and I grew up listening to country music. I grew up listening to rock music, and I remember very specifically one night I was at home, was watching TV. There was a show on called 40 Greatest Metal Songs of All Time. It was on VH1 Classic, and I don't remember what number it came in, but Pantera, Cowboys from Hell.
Oh.
And I was listening to it. I never heard of Pantera. I never heard the music. And I was just like mouth wide open watching this, and critics talk about it. I'm like, how have I never heard of this band? And at the time I hadn't really listened to a whole lot of, metal music and things like that. But I just remember going and buying their records and stuff. But that moment right there, I remember seeing Dimebag Darrell. They were showing the music video from Cowboys from Hell. And I remember watching him play guitar, and he just looked like the coolest, baddest dude. And he looked like he was having fun. And in my house growing up and with a family of musicians, there were guitars and instruments laying around everywhere. But I had never really picked one up because it hadn't really crossed my mind yet to do that. Or I hadn't really had the drive to do that. But after I saw that, it wasn't a couple weeks until I was buying guitar magazines and diving into it and picking up my dad's guitar and learning how to play. And that was pretty much the spark for me, was just seeing somebody that really caught my eye. And I was just like, I remember too picking up the guitar, and I played like most people do. I played Smoke on the Water on one string, a true story. And I practiced all damn night on it, man. And I took the guitar up to my dad, and I was like, Dad, check this out. And I played it, on one string. He's like, well, that's pretty good. He said, let me see it. He actually played it the right way, the way Richie Blackmore wrote it, and he handed it back to me and said, get to practicing. And that was it. I was off and running, man. I haven't really put it down since.
I usually don't let a lot of things affect me, but when I found that, when I heard the news of Dimebag Darrell passing away that day, it's like time stood still. It's like it just I was in disbelief. I was like, no,
sure.
This.
Well, especially the way it happened.
Sure,
musicians die. You see, someone, hey, so and so passed away, age of 65. On up to their years. But when the guy's in the pretty much the prime of his life and his career and his playing, and he's taken away so tragically and short, it really does, like you say, put you in disbelief. And he had already passed away before I ventured into music and things like that. But I did make it a note. Previous band, we did a little tour, and we were in Texas, and I was like, I have to stop at Dom's grave in Arlington, and I had get a couple pictures taken and go pay my respects. But yeah, it's really tragic and kind of senseless that it happened. I wish he was still around, because he's massive influence on me.
And his guitar playing, it's effortless, man.
Yeah.
He made it look effortless, and I'm sitting here trying to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I can't do shit.
Right. Yeah, he's one of those guys that I think, like a lot of other, all-time great guitar players, it was almost like his guitar was an extension of his brain and his ears, of what he was thinking and hearing.
Yeah.
And it just poured out of him through his guitar. And, he like a lot of others, I'm sure worked tirelessly to hone his craft. But there came a time when he had to pretty much just play what came to him, and it kind of looks effortlessly because it's just really pouring out of him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Malcolm, is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Kiss Kiss Bang gets support from, or you guys' music even gets played in that area possibly?
Yeah, I would say I check our stats, and I look at where our stuff is getting streamed at, and I'm seeing some stuff pop up in Germany. That's pretty neat because, as far as I know, we haven't really tried to push anything in that area. But yeah, and I look at our stuff even to here in America, like where a lot of our streams are coming from on our digital platforms, and it states that I'm like, well, we've never been there and we don't even know anybody there, but hey, that's cool that they're getting it. I don't know how they're getting it, but I'm glad they're listening to it.
Is there a band on the bucket list for you that you would like to tour with, work with, or maybe do an old school album split with?
You know, I got asked that question a couple weeks ago, and it was really hard for me to answer on the spot. I would have to sit and think about that for a while to come to the exact right answer decision. But since I'm sitting here off the top of my head, any capacity of touring or writing or jamming with, I would have to pick Slash. My three biggest influences on guitar are Dime, Pantera, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Slash. Whenever I go to play something, I kind of approach it the way that one of those three guys would. But obviously, you know, Stevie Ray's gone, and so's Dime. But I would give anything to be able to share the stage with Slash, whether that was with Guns N' Roses or Slash's group with him and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, or just anything. That would probably blow my mind.
Folks, I want to say this right now. If you have the opportunity to get out and catch Kiss Kiss Bang or any musicians whatsoever, get out and check them out because we are never promised tomorrow whatsoever. Are you guys still on tour right now or getting ready to go back on tour? Because it looks like the 19th, you guys are going to be at Tidballs, and then you got a couple of tour dates in July and August, and looks like maybe October you guys are going to be in Johnson City, Tennessee. Let's talk about this a little bit, about this little tour coming up.
Yeah, man. We a lot of these shows are, you know, kind of one-off shows or back-to-back shows on the weekends and stuff. We're kind of getting into the area of where we may be looking to step out and touring full-time in the near future. But, yeah, we do have a lot of shows coming up. We sat down and started booking shows in our region when we knew that we were going to release this record, and they've kind of just started piling up. We started off with like 8 or 10 dates, and now we're approaching more than 20. I think there's more than 20 now, a few of which we haven't announced yet, but we will be soon. I know there's a couple shows that are going to be announced this next week. But yeah, it's been pretty neat because we're getting calls in. Hey, you want to come do this show with so and so, et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty neat. So we do have some traveling that we have coming up. I know we have more shows in Tennessee. We have Nashville for sure, Johnson City. We'll be in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah, man, just trying to get out there and spread the music and build fans and just grow it, you know.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Kiss Kiss Bang 6-track debut EP Hearts on Fire, which is out right now via TLG and INgrooves. You want to get out and pick this up. Also, check out their Hearts on Fire video that's out there right now as well. So, Malcolm, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like this when it all goes down? How can they do that, my friend?
Well, one of the quickest ways to get in touch with us is just give us a like on Facebook, and we tell people all the time, shoot us a message on there. We talk to our fans pretty often and try to stay in touch with everybody that we can. We're on Instagram as well if you want to keep up with some of our photography and videos. And really my favorite way for people to stay in touch and get merchandise, things like that, is come to a freaking show.
Yeah.
Because we got it. We're ready to get in people's hands, and you know, we really like to meet people face to face when they come to the merch table and get to talking to them and getting to know everybody. And it can be a little hectic sometimes once you're meeting thousands of people, but every town that we go to, we try to take as much time as possible and meet everyone and you know, have a word with people and see if they're digging it, and hopefully get them back out to another show, because that's what we do. We like to go out and play live, man. That's our favorite thing. Once we write music and record it and put it out, we're ready to go and play it live for everybody, because that's the number one thing we enjoy doing, is playing live. Everybody in our band, we all came up playing live, so that's really our bread and butter there. That's what we hang our hat on, is playing live.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, this is Malcolm from Kiss Kiss Bang, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Dig it.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, soon our Twitch link. And also get out and check out Kiss Kiss Bang. Pick up their 6-track debut EP, Hearts on Fire, which is out right now, and the Hearts on Fire video as well. So, Malcolm, my Kentucky brother, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for the interview. I appreciate it, bud.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.